Black Lives Matter is not a trend, so companies that, just using it there for clout, stop that. If you're gonna use it, be genuine. Which a lot of you ain't, let's be real. Step number 6 also is realizing that Black Lives Matter is not an anti-white movement. I will say that again. Realizing that Black Lives Matter is not an anti-white movement. It's a movement towards equality. In the same way that feminism is not an anti-male movement. It is also about equality. Try and process that, because that, for some people, that may take a while for them to process that in their head. Just because it says Black Lives Matter in the title doesn't mean that your life is worth any less. It just means that currently, because of the complexion in my skin, because of the melanin in my skin, my life is worth less than yours. So much so that a black man, a black woman could be killed by a police officer, multiple police officers. Someone could break into their house whilst they're asleep and, shoot them several times, and justice isn't served. That's why we are shouting Black Lives Matter so loudly. That is why it is so important that we use our voices to say Black Lives Matter, because it's not something that we're saying lightly. It is an outcry, because for so many years, 400 plus years, Black lives have not mattered. Black lives have not mattered because you see things like slavery, because you see things like redlining, because you see things like mass incarceration, because you see things like people being deported from a country that they have been living in their whole life, and they have been deported. That would not happen to someone who is white. I'm just putting it out there. It just would not happen. It categorically would not happen. And that is why we shout so loudly that Black Lives Matter. So please realise it is not an anti-white movement. It's the movement for equality. Step number 7 is to refrain from being performative. Now I get it, when the black square happened and everyone, posted their black square, you felt great. You felt great because you felt, yes, I'm really supporting the movement. I'm really, here with everyone. Great, cool. But my question is, what did you do after that? Because if all you did was put up that black square and you did nothing else, and I'm not talking about doing anything else on social media, I'm not talking about that, because I don't care what you put on social media. What I care about is, what are you actually doing from seeing George Floyd's murder? What are you actually doing after hearing the news about Breonna Taylor's murder? If you are not educating yourself, if you are not, having those difficult conversations, there's an issue. If all you did was put up that black square, please, 1, take it down, and 2, reevaluate, because that's not okay. You don't just put something up and be performative like, hey, yes, I'm here with you, just so you can feel like, Black Lives Matter now, but tomorrow you're going to be, doing a little TikTok dance, saying the N-word 4 times. Doesn't really wash. So 1, please go and reevaluate that, and 2, if you genuinely do believe that Black Lives Matter, go do some research, go read a book. Do not rely on black people to give you all the information. Asking one black person about the whole experience of every single black person in the world does not wash. Don't do that. Go research, go pick up a book. There are so many books. In fact, I'll put some books down in the description below if you want to go and pick some up. In fact, let's try and find a black bookstore and put them down below and see if you can invest in their business as well. Which perfectly leads me on to number 8, which is investing and supporting black initiatives and businesses. Right now, I'm wearing Cavalli London. Hello, come through. Just support. I'm not saying stop shopping at every white-owned store or every, non-black person of colour store. Don't do that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, realise that there are some black people who have businesses in your area, who have businesses who are, you know, providing ridiculously amazing quality that you just don't know about yet. Just actively look out for them, because they could have that t-shirt that you've always been looking for, and then you'll see it and be like, oh, that's what I wanted this whole time, and then you find it. Just open your eyes a bit more. Genuinely, you'll be shocked at how many black businesses exist in the UK that you can find, you know, something that you've always been looking for. There are black tattoo artists, there are black vegan hair care and skincare companies. Pretty much most, if not all, of what you can think of business-wise, I'm sure that there is a black business out there doing something like that. So I'm going to put a few links down in the description below to Black Pound Day and also to the Black British Directory, so you can check out and find any more black businesses in the UK, or if you're outside the UK, I mean, you will find it on like Beyonce's website where she lists all of those black businesses. Go check that out too, because we need to start supporting. And when I say we, I'm not just talking about, you know, like everyone else. I'm talking about black community too. We need to start supporting our own people, because if we're not doing that, like, how are we expecting anyone else to? Like, make it make sense. Look out and just invest in some businesses. Invest in businesses of people who do not look like you. Just try it. Like, invest in a female-owned business, invest in a black-owned business. Just do it, because one, you're actually going to find out that the product that you've been looking for, they probably already made. And yes, you've probably been looking for it on, you know, Top Man or Boohoo, all those sites. And again, I'm not saying don't look for it on there. You can probably find it on there, but you could probably find something better elsewhere. Just put it out there. Also encompassing that, stand by us. Like, don't just like pretend to stand by us and then kind of walk away when things get awkward. No, stand by us and actively open your ears and listen to our stories. When we're telling you things about that, things that happen to us, things that continue to happen to us, about microaggressions, about bullying, about police brutality, about times we've been stopped by the police, various things. I mean, the fact I could go on just about this one point for a whole video says a lot. But when we're telling you those things, listen. And yes, I know, I 100% know that there are good policemen out there. I 100% know that, you know, there are good people out there. But those systems were created in a way that was meant to systemically push down black people. Let me just give you an example. The police department were initially created to recapture slaves that got free. So that same mentality seems to be, you know, reflected today when you see policemen and women over and over and over again stopping black people for no reason, seeing them, you know, driving a bit slower because, you know, they're coming up to a traffic light and pulling them over, and seeing that they have Vaseline in their glove compartment and thinking that they could have drugs. Please make that make sense. How many of you have Vaseline in your car just in case your lips get dry? No one wants ashy lips. No one wants ashy lips. And if you do, I am judging you, because ashy lips is not from God. It is not blessed. You should not be having ashy lips. Cream your lips, people. Get some Vaseline, get some cocoa butter, moisturize your lips, them. Little rant over. Things like that shouldn't be happening, but they are, because it's not equal. And those systems were built very much to oppress black people, in the same way that the education system was built to oppress black people. The reason I can say that is because, hey, I went through the education system, and yes, I saw it oppress black people. And it unfortunately continues to do so when you see disproportionate amounts of black young people being suspended, excluded, put into internal exclusions for no reason, may I add, or for the same reasons that, you know, their white counterparts, you know, just get a little telling off, or, you know, they just get one after school. And again, I'm saying this on genuine experience of school. Didn't happen to me, but I saw it happen to other people. And 2 people did the exact same thing. One was black, one was white, and they got punished completely differently. That right there is an issue. And if you can't see that, please, I beg you, go and do some research. Also, it really shouldn't take a white person or a white professor to come and tell you the same things that black people have been telling you for 400 plus years. It shouldn't take that. When we tell you something that has happened, listen. Not only listen, like genuinely take in what we say, because we're not saying this lightly. When we're saying that when we go into a shop and, you know, we feel like we're being watched, not based on anything else than the colour of your skin, and then you step into a shop and, you know, it's an expensive shop and you have the money to buy the things in the shop, and they judge you based on the colour of your skin, and they think, oh, you're poor, or not only you're poor, or you're going to rob the place. No. Listen to these stories, take them in, and realise that there are so many people out there who still hold this mentality. They could be shop owners, they could be bosses, they could be teachers. Yes, I said teachers because I'm letting you know there are some teachers out there who think like that. They're across the board, they are everywhere, and I genuinely, I'm telling you now, we need to start, you know, speaking and talking to those people and saying what you're doing is wrong. So if you are white and you see another white person doing that to someone of any other race, I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about any other race, speak up. Because unfortunately, the likelihood is they're going to listen to you. They're going to actually listen to you because of pigmentation in our skin, because, you know, we look different to them. Our thoughts, feelings, opinions, you know, the pain that we're in sometimes doesn't mean anything to them. But usually if it comes from someone who looks like them, they're like, oh, maybe what I am doing is wrong. So, you know, please use your voice and please do speak up.